When you grow up, what do you want to be?
A doctor.
Why do you want to be a doctor?
Because my dad would.
And what do doctors do?
Help people.
You like to help people? Yeah.
Can you remember when you were a child? Your favorite books, your favorite games, your favorite superheroes. How the world came alive for you through play and imagination. A timeless place with loving parents as your guides and fantasy as your constant companion. The only time to be concerned with were bath time, dinner time, and story time. But what if there was medication time?
Too full?
Or pill time? Time for your blood draw? Or time for another doctor visit? When childhood is interrupted by a diagnosis of cystinosis, a rare fatal disease that affects fewer than 2,000 children and young adults worldwide, the very same imagination we developed as children and nurture as adults makes anything seem possible.
Stephen and I met when we were both in college. We were married July 30th of 2008, and Samuel's due date was our 1-year wedding anniversary. And he was perfect. I couldn't ask for a better delivery.
And then about 6 months, he stopped growing, he stopped meeting his milestones.
And it was Stephen's grandma that looked at him and thought he had very similar symptoms to Stephen's cousins who also had cystinosis. When the results came back a couple weeks later, it wasn't a surprise to me that he had tested positive for it.
As soon as I heard the word cystinosis, I knew that this was a fatal disease, that this was terminal, that the chances of them growing up and having normal lives was radically changed.
So cystinosis is one of these ultra-rare diseases. It's hereditary. Parents are carriers and don't know it because they feel perfectly normal.
I am a carrier of the defective cystinosis gene, and so is my wife. And so anytime we have a child, we have a 25% chance that our kid will have cystinosis.
It involves basically every cell and every tissue in the body. And essentially, it's an abnormal accumulation of an amino acid called cysteine. And that cysteine increases so much it crystallizes, and these little crystals damage different parts of the body.
Because of these crystals, the cells start to die. And unfortunately, the gene is expressed in every single cell of the body. So little by little, the cells start to die in every single tissues.
Cystinosis leads to kidney failure, which that can be fixed with a kidney transplant.
And when they get a kidney transplant, their issues aren't over because cystinosis is a total body disease. As they get older, we found that it affects their nervous system, their swallowing, their muscle strength, their thyroid gland.
However, it is a fatal disease. Over time, you get damage to enough organs in the body that people still die in their 30s.
To slow the progression of cystinosis, Samuel and Lars have an around-the-clock medication schedule beginning at 5 a.m. and then another dose at 7. Breakfast is at 8 with more medication to be taken on a full stomach.
He's called to the office 3 times during the day to get different medications.
You having a good day at school, Sam?
Sam and Lars need eye drops to dissolve crystals in their corneas that lead to light sensitivity and visual impairment.
Even with the drops every hour, you still get crystals building up in the cornea, and it's really not a good long-term fix. Sam doesn't really fight us at all. We still have to wrestle Lars down sometimes to give him his drops.
And then they go to sleep right after Sam takes his Procysby at 7 p.m.
There is one more round of medication at 11 p.m. before it starts all over again at 5 the next morning. 7 days a week, every month, every year, until better treatments or a cure is found.
The research that the Cystinosis Research Foundation has supported is really to rid people of the burdens of the disease, to improve their quality of life, and the stem cell therapy to hopefully cure the disease. So they've got a mouse that actually has cystinosis, and they can cure those mice with a stem cell transplant like this. The next step, and they're hoping to be working on this within the next couple of years, is to do experiments in humans, where they will take a blood sample, fix the defective instruction that makes you have cystinosis, grow up stem cells, inject them back into the patient, and have those stem cells replace the defective stem cells. By fixing the instructions, you cure the disease. You don't have to do a kidney transplant. You don't have to take medications. That would be the ultimate cure.
Cystinosis Research Foundation is what gives us the hope to keep going every single day. They've funded so many studies in so many different countries, and they've brought together a community of researchers, scientists, and physicians who are really dedicated to finding better treatments and better cures.
The funding makes all the research going forward much faster.
Cystinosis has such a community that's come up around it, and I feel like every disease needs a Nancy Stack and a CRF.
Whether it's the superheroes of our childhood or the heroes of our children's health care, only through imagination, commitment, and community can we believe that a life free of cystinosis is within reach. For the doctors and researchers, patients and parents on the road to the cure, hope lights our way.